I'm videotaping the bull. And videotaping the bull. And videotaping the bull.
Did a little loop, and it was mostly great exercise.
And on my way down there, I find his rangefinder.
We get that buck all on our packs. We get up to the top, back up to Ponce's Rock, to where we could, or in that area, to drop down back to camp, and we hear a bugle.
It was one of those, the old, if he'd have taken 2 more steps,
Right.
and that's really all he had to do is take a couple steps, and he was in that 330 to 340 range. He was a good bull. So, well, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
What's cracking?
What's cracking? What's happened this week since we recorded last?
I can't remember when we recorded last. Seems like time's flying.
Right? Kind of a boring week, really.
Was it?
Yeah, I didn't have too much going on. I did go shed hunting again, and I went to a new spot, and it was a bad idea. I didn't find anything.
Swing and a miss?
Swing and a miss. That happens. You go from hero to zero in 1 week. That's it.
Well, that's the way.
And then I knock our table around.
Whether it's shed hunting or just hunting, sometimes it's 0 to 0.
Yeah, there's no kidding. Mostly zero for myself, but
come back with a tail between your legs, and
yeah, it keeps you modest.
Oh yeah,
just when you think like you know hunting. What you're doing.
I mean, about the time you think I got this figured out,
you're going the wrong direction.
Yeah,
right?
schooled.
Yeah, it was some great.
Did you walk quite a bit?
No, I did like 6.5 miles, something like that.
Oh,
I just had kind of a short day so I stayed close to the house and did a little loop, and it was mostly great exercise.
Yeah.
Which is why I started doing it in the first place.
That's true.
So,
did you take your buggy?
I did not take my buggy.
What?
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
That's right. You went kind of closer, huh?
Yeah,
home,
I could drive my truck, and it was fine. But yeah, that's what I did. That was my whole week right there. I
I've been
haven't done
gathering
anything
bait.
else. Have you?
Yeah, I gathered some more bait. I'm ready to go now. This next week, I'll get out there and.
I've been thinking about gathering bait. It's crossed my mind a couple times.
Pop a little popcorn, will you?
Yeah, that's actually that's most of my agenda for tomorrow is to get a bunch of popcorn popped. I do have an entire 55-gallon barrel of cereal.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I haven't.
I've been having it thrown at me, and well, not literally, but I mean, I've been having people call, "Hey, you need some bait? You need some bait?" And I'm like, "All right." And then I think, gosh. It's a little heavier than popcorn. It's kind of, you get spoiled with popcorn.
Popcorn spoils you big time.
What about the cereal? I was supposed to actually get a hold of Frankie and get some, but it's a little heavier than popcorn, right?
It's heavy. Like it's super heavy. Yeah.
Because it's
dense.
Crunched down and dense.
Yeah. It's kind of, it's compacted in there. It's going to be awesome bait though.
Oh yeah. But they're going to sit there and they're not going to be able to, they're not going to grab a chunk and leave, which is good. And that's a great thing about popcorn too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, I'll take, I guess, what I can get. And 100%. I got a new spot I think I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm typically run one bait.
Yeah.
And my partner that baits with me usually isn't going to bait this year. So I'm going to probably run 2 baits, and then I want to run one for a rifle because not everybody. I want to set it up to where you could sit off it further.
Okay.
And because not everybody archery hunts, and it'd be kind of fun. Yeah. To have that option for somebody if they want to shoot with a rifle.
Yeah.
And that somebody might be me. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at trail cameras and I'll decide which one.
Yeah, that's true. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
How far are they apart? Are they far enough away it's not the same bears?
No, we do get some of the same bears.
Yeah.
But we've been doing this for years and it works fine.
I've actually, like straight across, it has to be 8 miles, 7 miles, I would say, at least. And I had a bear, and it looked like it had a rub patch on its rib cage on both sides, right?
Okay.
And as we got to looking at it, we actually realized it was the same bear, and it wasn't rub patches. It was just a lighter colored patch, and it was round, just like a rub patch.
Gotcha.
we thought it was a rub patch. And so I said, dang it, because it was a nice bear. And it was early. Usually the bigger bears rub later.
Right.
And yeah, as it turned out, it was. Speaking of that, bear hunting, I did mess with my trophy line tree saddle.
Did you?
Yeah, I think it's going to work pretty damn good. Well, oh yeah. The whole thing was for me, since I'm not used to it, was like getting off the ground and feeling a little more comfortable, a little bit higher. Yeah. And so, I think it's going to work out really good. I'm excited about giving it a try. And, it's just going to take a little bit of playing with it.
Yeah.
By the time I'm actually bear hunting,
you'll be comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't played with mine nearly as much as you have, but
yeah.
The tree saddle.
The tree saddle is. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Oh.
That was not okay.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
no, I'm just kidding. Right. Anyway, so, and I did get some cool stuff, some new stuff from Nomad, which is one of our partners too. Mm-hmm. New hoodie from them and new T-shirt.
Yeah, slick. That's a good looking shirt.
And what else did I get? Oh, yeah, another thing for some binoculars too.
Yeah, vinyl harness. I actually put mine to the test yesterday.
Yeah, and
I liked it.
Did you?
It wasn't bad. And we talked before, they're little compact, so for Western hunting, they might not work for everyone. I don't know.
Yeah.
My Zeiss binoculars sitting there perfectly.
Did they?
And it was actually, I liked it.
Good.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and then I got turkey hunt coming up here next week. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. I go turkey hunting, and I got my calls from Native. And
did you?
Yeah.
Cool.
I got some more in. So pretty excited about that. And my wife's never been. Well, she's been turkey hunting last year in California, but never been in Idaho. So really contemplating whether to use the muzzleloader shotgun or a regular shotgun.
We did talk about that last podcast.
Yeah. I gave her the option. I was like, whatever you want. She's game. She don't care.
She doesn't care.
No.
She won't care until she cares.
Yeah, I think I said, I can load it light or I can load it heavy. She says, so you don't have to load it heavy is what she said.
There you go. Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Like a 10 gauge. You can load it up about like that.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm going to film it, so that's the only reason why I got to make sure that I'm upwind. Because downwind, with that smoke, you'll see puff smoke.
That's
and
true.
See nothing
with the camera?
else.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I've had that happen before.
Guiding, I remember. Yeah, I bet when hunting too. Guiding, I've had it happen countless times where you're not even thinking about that,
right?
Because you're in the moment. Mm-hmm. And then they shoot and you can't see nothing until all that clears.
Right.
But anyway, your bow's all ready to go. And
well, yours is. Mine, I haven't got back yet. So I should get it back this week and start shooting. So.
I'm sure he's done with it.
Yeah.
Just need to reach out to
Exactly. I'll contact him tomorrow, and I really need to get shooting with that new stuff on there. So get that sighted in.
Yeah.
That'll be fine.
Sure. Yeah. So. That'll be good. Getting the llamas tuned up, or the llama tuned up, I should say.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, to do for baiting. So.
Yes, that'd be cool. Can we take them if we go bait those?
Yeah.
I forget about that. We've talked about that in the past. Yeah. But that'd be kind of fun.
It's exercise, good exercise for them. And
right.
Might as well throw what we can on.
Yeah, that's cool. That'll be fun. I wonder if we got to make a trip first and see if we can get them close enough.
Yeah.
Based on snow levels. When are you planning on baiting?
I don't know. Well, this next week sometime. I was kind of thinking Tuesday.
Tuesday of this next week? Gotcha.
And then we can go the following week.
And get the other ones.
Like Monday or something like that on your day off.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. And then just...
So you have a list of sponsors there, or partners, I guess I should say. Should we throw that out there real quick?
Yeah, well, we talked about Native and Trophy Line.
Yeah. Aerotech.
Yeah, Aerotech's been awesome so far. So far, so good. I mean, I haven't had no problem with arrows actually.
Yeah,
they tune super well and
good
and shooting good. No complaints at all. That everything, even with the new setup with the red line sight and stabilizer and quiver and all that. That's been shooting spot on.
Awesome.
It's certainly not going to be the bow.
Right.
Yeah. All excuses are gone now. It's going to be me.
Going to be you.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
And I think people, at least I know, as long as I shoot better when I know my equipment's shooting good.
Oh, confidence.
Yeah.
Is when you gotta have confidence in your equipment for sure.
You're second guessing your equipment, then you're not going to shoot good anyway.
Yeah.
So
I've literally had that happen when I'm drawing back on an animal and went, just don't have the confidence.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's cost me. I missed, and I don't know. I just might have been, probably was mental, complete mental.
Probably. You're thinking your head's not where it should be.
Yeah.
And you're releasing that arrow.
Second guessing yourself.
Right.
And, who knows? Might have punched the trigger.
Right. It happens.
That was back in the day.
Right.
When I was a trigger puncher.
Yeah, I think I've cured that problem myself.
Yeah.
Trying to cure my daughter. Actually, she's just learning to shoot. She tends to punch that trigger a little bit. So trying to get her on board with that whole mantra. But.
Yeah, because it certainly makes a difference.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a huge difference.
Even I know for me where I put my finger on the trigger makes a big difference.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think I see some people that just barely got their finger on the trigger, I don't know.
Yeah, that's where she was at.
Was it?
Yeah. So we made that adjustment really quick when I saw that. Where do you put yours at?
I actually put it first.
The first knuckle?
Crook of my finger, yeah. And that's where I put mine.
Yeah, I actually put mine on the second.
Do you?
Yeah.
Some people do that too.
Good.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of the tip.
Yeah.
Like somewhere in the tip of. I've done that for years with that type, and then obviously some of my competition. Sometimes I will shoot like a thumb type release.
I've never shot one of those. How do you like that?
I like it.
Yeah.
For competition, honestly for hunting, the one I shoot, the one I like, which I got a couple of them, backup.
Yeah.
It's the thumb type, and I kind of use it as a back tension. I put my pressure on there and then squeeze back with my back. But you can still I still see people punching those too. So you just got to figure that spot out. When I use it, I actually touch my two fingers together.
Okay.
That's me.
Yeah. I've never used one, so I don't know.
But they're noisy as far as like clicking it on your string.
Oh, okay.
So you probably see sometimes some of these hunting shows, guys are using that type, and they got it hanging on their string like tree. I see, tree stand hunters with their whitetail or whatever,
right.
And you can kind of see it dangling off of their D-loop. And
yes, I guess I have seen that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I always, in the heat of the moment, man, I always worry about my luck. Is going to grab it and accidentally punch it, or grab that. Grab the thumb part.
Drop it.
Yeah. I attempted one time. I was hunting in North Dakota, and I was going to use it then. And I don't know. It was kind of another one of those things, when it came down to, it's like, man, I don't want to take a chance. Just,
Well, that makes sense. I agree. I can see the downfall to that. I like having it on my wrist. Well,
that too. And then I think, that's why I got to actually. Is if I was to lose one, that's when I bought my second one, was when I was going to use it for hunting.
Okay.
Just like I always have a second release in my pack.
Right.
I don't know if you carry one too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I
kind of waste your time with that if you lose that first one. I guess that could be said for a lot of parts of your bow, though, I suppose.
I don't know if I've ever told you the story about my friend's release not working when I had a bull come in.
I don't remember that.
And so it's on one of the videos, and it's Ken's first bull.
Oh.
And I'm pretty sure he tells a story, but let's see. Yeah, it was a smaller bull. It was a 5x6. He'd never killed a bull yet, and I said, let's go get it. So we went after it and ended up not working out, and the bull ended up getting away. Okay, he was trying to sneak in on him watering. I'll tell the story, okay, because it's on video, and I think the whole thing's on video. That's the one where it's waiting. The bull is drinking. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yes.
So,
yes.
To me, the best experience, like we've talked about before, is failures or whatever. Is going in there, and messing up. If you do, you do. You don't, you don't.
Right.
But I didn't want it. That particular situation was a one-man deal. I was videotaping it.
Yeah.
But I told him, that bull is down there with his cows. The cows had went off into the creek, and there was a little pond, it wasn't a wallow. It was too deep of water. It's maybe about 2 feet deep of water.
Okay.
But it wasn't very big around. And this bull started drinking in there. But I told him, I was like, that bull's going to go drink in that pond. And when he does, run down. I told him where to go because the way the wind was blowing. I says, run down there. Run. I meant run.
Right.
Run down there, come out in those trees, and then get right in that creek bottom. You're going to come right up on him. And I'll just never forget. I'm like, go. And he's like, you mean run? And I says, yeah, run. So he takes off running. I see some dust flying, right? And I'm thinking, yeah, he's running and everything. And so he goes out of sight. And I'm videotaping the bull. And videotaping the bull. And videotaping the bull. If you remember right, the video, you put some captions underneath it.
Right.
Still waiting and waiting. And this bull drinks, I can't remember. I don't want to exaggerate, but I know it's well over 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And because I remember watching it, and he never did, get close. I never even seen him again. And poor guy. Anyway, bull gets, bull's full.
Right.
So he takes off after his cows, and that's all. They had no clue we were there because the wind was just blowing stiff enough. So I start walking down to Ken thinking, what in the hell, happened? And on my way down there, I find his rangefinder.
Uh-oh.
Well, unbeknownst to me, when I saw the dust flying, he did ass over tea kettle, falling down the hill, and has lost his rangefinder. And so I grabbed his rangefinder, put it in my pocket, and I walked down there. I'm like, what happened? And he told me, he fell. His hand was bleeding and everything. And he just, and it was inexperience, and dude, we've all been there. You know, maybe not in that situation, but we've all been there. And anyway, so I'm like, he goes, I lost my rangefinder. And so I messed with him, of course, for a little while. Finally, I gave him his rangefinder. But so we end up going back at that spot I used to hunt, which I know you've been to, that Ponch's Rock.
Yep. So
it was just like a little rock pile that you could see forever. Mm-hmm. And it was a great, I've spent countless hours up there. And I know guys talk about, I got some buddies that tell me about all the miles and miles they put on in a day. And I stop and think about how many hours and hours I put in that one spot. And I would see elk, but if the situation wasn't right, I'd stay there all day.
Right.
I mean, many days I stayed there all day watching elk, just because if the wind wasn't right, or, because I hunted that area, you hunt an area long enough, you know what's up as far as the way, kind of the wind or which way the animals are going to go. And granted, you get over there and stuff can change, but for the most part, it's, it runs pretty true. So we go back to Ponch's Rock and we're sitting there, and I guess after the fact, I I didn't realize it at that point. The way the elk fed down, or kind of after they got water, just went down in another drainage. Well, that rock was literally right by that drainage, and it was pretty chilly that day. And I was dressed for the occasion. I had extra clothes, but he didn't. So I said, if you want, we'll just go back to camp. And so he said, yeah, let's just do that. I said, that's cool. So started putting everything away. Well, I got the camera put away and everything. All of a sudden, you hear a bugle, like 300-400 yards off to the side. And so I said, let's kind of start working our way that way. And we walked about maybe 50 yards, got to another little spot, and that bull comes up on the ridge, and a cow. And he pushes the cow back in. You could tell she was wanting to cross over that ridge. And he pushed her back. And I looked, I was like, dude, that's that same bull. There's a 5x6, like I said. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh man, it makes sense. They were just right up there, and they came over this little knob, and now they're in here. So another cow popped out, and that bull pushed her back. And then another cow came out, tried to leave, and he pushed her back. And I'm like, I says, let's start working our way that way, because here again, the wind was good. And but I knew if a cow got away, he lost control. And I think he had maybe 7-8 cows. All of a sudden, one comes up and gets past him. Mm. And then another one did. And you should have saw this bull. Now, in the meantime, so while this is going on, I'm cow calling. And every time I cow call, man, he'd bugle. Every single time. And he'd start to look away, and I cow call again, he'd turn around and bugle again. So I had his attention, right? But when he lost control of those cows, I mean, I told Ken, I was like, this bull is done. Because you could tell he's a younger bull,
Right.
And so he didn't know which way to go. He didn't know whether to chase the cows or go back to the herd that's still inside in that cut.
Right.
And so we started kind of cutting off the way the cows went, the ones that ran away, because I figured the bull might go that way. And so we start getting close, and I dropped my pack, which had the camera and everything. I mean, it was getting later in the evening, not dark by no means, but it was getting later. And at this point, we just want to kill an elk, Mm-hmm. And I'm just cow calling is all I'm doing. And all of a sudden, his demeanor just changed, and he went from like caring about his cow to focusing on the cow call.
Gotcha.
Started coming right to us. So, as it turned out, I was off to the side of Ken and kind of back a little ways, but the bull ended up making a circle, and now I'm basically between Ken and the bull. 15 yards.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm laying on my belly, and I get my hand, I'm like, draw, and nothing. All of a sudden, 10 feet in front of me, this arrow just hits and explodes on a rock.
Whoa.
And, of course, the bull takes off, and he takes off not very far. I cow call again, he stops, and I turn around, and I'm like, what's up? He goes, my release wouldn't go off.
Oh.
And so, anyway, I called the bull back in. This sounds like a Wild West story.
Right.
We could get him on here and he'll
vouch for it all.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But the bull comes back in, and I'm like, draw, and he goes, it won't go off. And I turn around, and the bull's like, he's like 30 yards now, I think. And I look back, and sure enough, man, he's pulling the trigger on his release, and it's not going off. So I told him, I said, put your finger behind the trigger and let down. And he did. Bull takes off, kind of not super spooked, but spooked enough. I cow call, stop him again. And I take my release off, because I still have my release on, and I pitch it back to him We shot the same release.
Yeah.
He puts the release on. I call the bull back.
Jeez.
25 yards. And I'm laying flat now on the ground. So all I could see is the top of its head, and his horns.
Yeah.
And I hear thump. And, it takes off. I cow call. Stops. And I peek over and I range him. He's 35 yards. I said, shoot him again,
Right.
Shoots him again. Drills him. Bull takes off running again. I cow call. Stop him. He's 60 yards. Hits him again.
Oh.
3 times.
Jeez.
And we exchanged a release. I mean, if you wouldn't...
That's crazy.
Like I said, I'm not exaggerating at all. It's the most wild thing. But I truly believe that bull, because of his mindset with all the cows and everything, I mean, he was just in a spin.
Right.
I mean, he didn't know which way to go.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was so wild. But none of the hits we knew for sure.
Yeah.
Because I was laying down, and the one that was 60, it was actually like 61 yards. He shot, and he had to kind of shoot over some brush, and I didn't even know if he hit it, to be honest with you, that time.
Yeah.
But what he said happened was the first time is his release wouldn't work, and when he went to let down, it went off, and that's when the arrow exploded.
Oh, okay.
So when
That
I told him
makes
to
sense.
put your finger behind the trigger, that stopped it from going off.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
that was wild. And then next morning, there was one little, where I used to hunt, I know you've been in there.
Yeah.
It's kind of patchy trees here
Yeah.
and there, And this was, where we camped. This was like, I don't know if he told you the story when you went in there with him, but it was right above camp. There's a patch of trees.
Oh, okay.
And that's where that bull kind of disappeared in those trees.
Oh, okay.
And we went and got the pack and everything and came back, and we were kind of glassing over there. But we never seen him come out of the trees. But I didn't want to push it because
Sure.
I wasn't quite sure on the hit.
Right.
He was dead.
Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish we'd have went, because it was maybe 250 from camp.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we could have got him out so easy that night.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was about as Wild West as it gets, as far as with the release and everything. Yeah, but that was his first bull, and we got him out, no problem. Next day, I think we had to come back and get the llamas, and then go back in there. I can't remember for some reason why we didn't have them with us that in there with us that trip, but came back out and got them. But yeah, it's pretty fun.
That's pretty cool. Do you excuse me? So the llamas, have you taken them into that area very often?
Yeah,
that's how you always used to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, after the first year I was there, I hunted in there. I didn't have them, and I had to pack out. I packed one out. Me and a couple buddies packed one out on our backs, and then it was the next year's when I got the llamas.
Gotcha.
And
yeah, so the one time I went into that same spot, Ponch's Rock, hunting from there, same guy, Ken, had drawn a rifle elk tag.
That's right.
And so we were hunting some spots that I knew at first, and we weren't having any luck. So we headed over to there and stayed the night in there and stuff. And I told Ken, he asked me if I'd go on that hunt with him. I said, I will absolutely go, but if we see a buck, I had a tag for that unit. I said, I want to be able to shoot that buck if we see a decent buck. And
did
so
you pack your rifle, or
I took my rifle with me, yeah.
I didn't know if you use his.
So anyway, we get packed in there, set up camp, and then we walk up. It's like, if I remember right, a super steep walk up to the top of that.
It's not very far, but it's like,
it's steep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get up there, and we aren't glassing for not very long at all. And here's this beautiful 4-point buck. In fact, it's that one up behind you there.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome, like 3-inch eye guards. He's just a gorgeous buck. And we were watching for a minute, and I took my binoculars down. I look at Ken, and Ken just goes, I know, let's go. So we did. We went back down into that drainage. I guess if you're looking off that rock down to the left there, came up around And we found that buck laying under a tree, and all I could see was his head, and I couldn't tell which way his back was and stuff. So we waited for a while, and there were some does that had got up, but he didn't even budge.
Did you guys bump the does?
We did bump the does, yeah, but they didn't. They went an opposite way, so they were far enough away from him. I honestly don't, because of the curvature. I'm not sure he could even see him take off, which was probably good for us.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then we sat there for the longest time waiting for him to stand up, and he never would. And I just said, I'm going to shoot him in the head.
Oh,
and
how far was he?
It's like, I think we ranged about 180 yards or something like that.
Nice.
And
no clue you were there.
He had no clue. Yeah, I had the perfect setup on these rocks.
I remember him showing me the rock where, the rock point you were at.
Yeah.
Where those.
Yeah, it was a perfect. And then, dude, so boom, shot him, and he just disappeared. He was gone. He fell down into the sagebrush. Anyway, I had shot him right between the horns, but luckily it wasn't directly between them. It just took out the back of his skull there.
Oh, awesome.
So anyway, the funny part is we got that buck taken care of, and he's beautiful. It's like huge. Body was just massive on that buck. He's still one of the better bucks I've ever shot, I think. Yeah, he's awesome. But anyway, we get that buck all on our packs. We get up to the top, back up to Ponce's Rock, to where we could, or in that area, to drop down back to camp, and we hear a bugle. we turn around, and I think there's 200 elk. That might be a bit of an exaggeration. I don't know.
There was a pile.
It was a pile.
You got
of elk coming down that flipping ridge.
Yeah.
And here comes a bull. There was no huge bulls in there. It was late October. So
he didn't care.
No, he didn't care. So they just came in, and he's just screaming the whole way. And Ken and I are like, here we go.
He got a bunch of meat on
and he ended up he wasn't confident in his gun.
Oh.
For whatever reason. I can't remember what the story was with that. But anyway, I had just shot that buck with mine.
I think that's the first rifle. I think if it's not, it might be the second rifle hunt he ever been on.
Could have been.
So, his rifle experience just
didn't
have a lot.
Yeah. So, but yeah, anyway, so he asked if he could borrow my rifle. I was like, absolutely. And that, it took a long time. And this is all, I'll actually link this video. It's such a fun video.
Yeah.
But, so that bull was not 100 yards from where we shot that buck that same day. And he shot that thing, and I think we had to shoot him twice, maybe. I can't remember, to be honest. He hit him. He thumped him hard the first time.
Yeah, didn't you go you were within really close to where you shot your buck from, is where you shot the elk from, wasn't it?
No, we were shooting the opposite way. So we had came back. We were up close to Ponce's Rock shooting back.
Right. Way. You were shooting opposite direct. You were shooting west, where your buck, you're shooting more east, northeast.
Northeast, yeah.
But that same rock outcropping, was that the same one you were shooting at the elk from? Did you get there, or was it that ridge?
From where Ken shot his elk?
No, from where you shot your deer.
Where I shot the deer, that bull was right. It was right behind.
Yeah.
Or the elk was. Yeah. Where I shot the deer, the elk was the
next drainage.
Yeah,
it wasn't very far. That drainage wasn't too far from.
No, I mean the deer and the elk literally died about 100 yards apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they were really close. It was crazy though.
But you had no animals. You had no animals for that.
Zero animals. And how far is it in there?
Well,
it's not super far, but 3 miles.
Yeah.
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 So the next day, we finished quartering his bull up, I think, the next morning. We had to leave the next day. I think we only spent the one night. It was miserable, too.
I know. I saw the tent.
Oh.
It was all tore
up. It was terrible. But anyway, so we packed that whole bull, my whole buck, and our camp out in that one day. And we were
How many trips did you make? 2 or 3?
No, it was at least 3. I think it was 3 trips.
Yeah.
That's a lot of walking.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, with meat on your back and stuff.
The good thing is, once you get to camp, it's pretty easy walk.
It's not bad.
It's not really too bad. But
it's really not.
But getting meat on it, getting down that hill.
Yeah, that was brutal. That was tough. It was fun. It was memorable, and it was a fun hunt. And honestly, awesome videos. Well, it's a 2-part video. We did one for the buck and one for the bull.
Yeah.
And
you have
anyway,
to put the link for those.
I'll link those to this and
then maybe put the one from the elk that he killed his first bull, because you got that one on there too.
We can link that on there too. Yep, we have all those videos.
Yeah, I wish we had footage of
the kill shot and stuff.
The kill shot. You got the footage of him not killing it when he chopped his rangefinder and stuff. And then I think we got us talking the next day.
Yeah.
When we found the bull, because
Yep. Yeah, those were pretty fun.
That was
good stuff.
That was a good area, and you know the bad thing about, unfortunately, so that was the cool thing about the llamas. I took the llamas back in there, and there was no horse trail or anything like that, and they would just kind of weave through things, and you know, every bull I killed back there, honestly, I did pack the horns out, and because honestly, I mean, the way I looked at it, as far as, you know, my llamas were, I don't know if I ever pushed them, had to push like and see how much weight, because I had 4 of them, and I could carry, you know, I can get a full elk out no problem with 4 and camp, and, you know, and everything on there. But
really,
but I would always take the horns because I always just worried about, you know, one getting poked or whatever. So, and I figured it's the least I could do. They're definitely doing the majority of the work.
Absolutely.
And but there was no trails or anything back there. There was just like game trail, and that's it.
Right.
And in fact, I remember one time pulling up with my llamas in my truck, the Dog and Pony Show it was, and a couple guys had some mules there, and I'm thinking, man, how in the heck do they get them back in there? And when they see me backing up with llamas, they kind of started messing around with their camp, and then the guy walked over, and he basically said he hunted there years before, and they used to get animals in there. Okay. But it was just, you know, it changed completely. No trail anymore, blah, blah, blah. And when he saw us pulling in there as llamas, they were just packing up to leave, because he says, we figured, we know you guys can get back in there.
You guys got this. Yeah.
So moving forward, back in, I think it was 17, something like that, was the last year I hunted in that area. Okay. And I get back in there and to my camp and put my tent up, and my plan was I had to go to a wedding, so I think I went in there like on a Thursday, put my camp up, came back. I don't know if I hunted even the next morning, but anyway, I didn't come back till Sunday. And when I got back in there, I noticed on my way in, somebody had cut the trail. The horse cut a nice horse trail.
Oh, geez.
There was no horse tracks or anything in there. Mm-hmm. The first time when I went in there, but they had cut all the trail, you know, really nice. And I'm thinking, man, they blew it, because now people are going to be able to get animals in there, or a motorcycle or whatever. They did do a good job. I will give them that. But when I went back in there, now there's all these horse, you know, hooves in there, or tracks in there. Right. I get back to where I camped, and these guys, literally, I'm not exaggerating, their tent was closer than from me to you.
From your tent?
From my tent. And I had built, for my llamas, I had just built like a hitching post, you know, between 2 trees. Right. That was all tore down because, you know, they put their mules on there. And nothing against horses and mules, don't get me wrong at all. They certainly got their purpose, you know, and you can ride them and all that. But I guess the simplicity of taking care of the animals is what I liked about the llamas, because they're so low maintenance. Right. And, you know, I know you can't ride them and all that, but I didn't care. I figured half the time when I've used mules and horses, I walk anyway, just because you know, I don't mind riding at all, but I like to walk too. Sure. But, and then, these guys tried telling me, and I've been going in there for a lot of years, 12 or so, something like that.
Right. I know you hunted that area for a long time.
Yeah. And these guys tried telling me that they've been camping there for, I forget how many years they told me, but, and there was 6 of them. And I actually spent the night, went in, spent the night, got up the next morning, went to Ponce Rock, saw one elk.
Oh, jeez.
And that was like unheard of in there, by the way.
Right.
You know, you'd always see,
Sure.
always see lots of elk in
No,
there
I
during
get
archery
that.
season.
Yeah.
And I just figured, you know, they'd killed shot like a calf and shot one nice 6-point. They did shoot a nice 6-point. But, you know, I don't know how many times they've been in there, but
Right.
they had them all kind of chased out. And it's pretty frustrating, especially, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. There's no way. To me, it took a lot of balls for them to set their tent up
Right.
that close.
Right.
And there's other places they could have camped.
Yeah.
And tried making it sound like, you know, they've been in there for years. And
No, you haven't.
I was frustrated. So I actually went somewhere else and shot a bull.
Did you?
Yeah. I slept in my Jeep that night. I packed up and slept in my Jeep and went to another spot and ended up shooting just a nice 6-point.
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
redemption, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think they'd, you know, just ethics wise. In my head, I'm thinking they probably had it in their head where they were going to camp.
Yeah.
And there was no adjusting that.
Yeah.
So it sounds like to me.
They had, you know, well, there was 6 of them. So, I mean, it was a big enough tent. It wasn't a wall tent. It was like, I don't know, it was one of those type that has.
The fiberglass poles and stuff?
Yeah, but it was big.
Okay.
It was big.
Okay.
Definitely could sleep that many. But, yeah, I just had that day or that time, it was after I got rid of my llamas and because I was still working in Alaska at the time. So I didn't, you know, I got rid of them when I just didn't have the time to keep them up and everything.
Right.
And so I just packed in there with them, my little tent and everything, and talked to one buddy. He said if I get something, he'd come pack it out if I needed him to.
Okay. Plan on ever hunting that spot again?
Nope. After that, I mean, when you know, and that was, he told me, man, did you see the trail, how nice it is? I says, yeah. Guess what?
That's the problem.
Everybody else
right?
is going to be in here with their animals now.
Right.
And he's like, oh, you think? And I'm like, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Once people see that, yeah. It'd almost be interesting to go back in there to see what it's like now after, you know, it's been a few years now, but yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, it is kind of whatever.
Well, that's not far from where I do some elk hunting too. And, and there's still elk in there. They're not like they used to be though.
No.
Oh, I think we were spoiled.
Gosh, I know. Man, and I still don't know a lot, but if I think back about some of the situations.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, me too.
You know, it's like, gosh, if I ever had that opportunity again.
Right.
And man, I've been on a couple times where, I don't know if you've ever had one of those days where all day long elk were just bugling.
Oh,
There was just hot cows around. And I mean, yeah, I just think about, I spun my wheels.
Right. I've been in the same spot, and you can watch some of our older videos. We're in that area, not where you were hunting, but we're all just
you really went that far. Yeah,
really. And holy cow, Frank and I one year, there were bulls and just elk everywhere, and we ended up not killing one, but
really, that
was unbelievable. Yeah.
Did you miss?
No, we couldn't. It was hard because it felt like we couldn't pull them off the cows at all.
Oh,
it seemed like
sometimes.
And geez, but man, you sure feel like you could have done some stuff different and figured it out. You know,
I'm an opportunist when it comes to elk.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody wants the classic, call them in and all, and that's cool. There's nothing cooler than that. But I want to kill an elk, and if I gotta stand on my head. You know, whatever to do it, I'm going to do whatever you got to do. Yeah, there's just times where you don't make a peep.
Right.
And you know, it's hard. Turkey hunting is a lot the same way, and I know you haven't had a lot of experience doing that.
Right.
But you know, trying to pull them away, you know, like turkeys, for instance, you got a decoy, but they got a live one right by them. You know, and it's just sometimes it's hard to pull them away.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had, in fact, the first year I hunted that, I know what it was. I'd been in that area. I'd been guiding like 2 or 3 years in September. So I didn't even get to hunt.
Gotcha.
Down in New Mexico and Arizona and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember telling the outfitter, hey, I'm a no-show next year because I want to hunt.
Right.
So I finally get to hunt, and that was the first year I went into that area. And we were down kind of walking up that creek. And it was pretty noisy, if you remember right.
Yeah.
So I remember we were following a trail, because that trail kind of goes along the creek.
You're talking about the trail coming in from
like
the
we passed
trailhead.
camp where camp was, and we just kept going up there.
Got you.
Probably, only maybe 300 yards past camp. And it was noisy, and I'm thinking, I told my buddy, I was with Rob, I says, I'm going to go up a little higher. And dude, I probably walked 30 yards from the creek, just enough where I couldn't just hear the creek. Mm-hmm. And there was bulls screaming above us. Really? We didn't even know it.
Oh, geez.
And there was a couple dandies. Like there was one, like this open hunt over the counter type thing. This bull was probably 360.
Jeez.
And there was another one in there probably about 340.
Yeah.
And there was another one just a little under that.
Yeah.
And the biggest bull, he was kind of hanging up high, but the smallest of those, and there was a couple other smaller bulls too, but I mean, they're just screaming. Really hot cow there. So I started sneaking up, and Rob actually, he didn't even know this was happening. I was trying to get his attention, but I couldn't get his attention. He kept walking up the creek. Wind was blowing just right, still coming down as early in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I peek up over and I see all this elk action going on, and I got cows like 15 yards from me, and another one's about 5 yards on the other side of this tree, and I'm right by this tree. And all of a sudden, here comes that one bull, and what he looked like he was going to do was swing around and push these cows up to the herd, because he was gathering them up,
Yeah.
And so I'm all ready to go. The one cow's eating, but I could see her eyeball was like, she was looking at me kind of in her peripheral vision, know, but she didn't peg me or anything. Mm-hmm. And as the bull started coming around the tree, I drew back and kind of didn't pay attention to the cow. I actually figured he was on his way enough. He was going to keep coming around the tree. Well, she saw me and took off. And when she did, he got what he wanted, was for her to run back to the herd. And he did a 180. Oh. I mean, it was one of those, the old, if he'd have taken 2 more steps, right. And that's really all he had to do, is take a couple steps. And, he was in that 330 to 340 range. He was a good bull. So, so we end up following them and put them to bed. And then some guys end up coming down from below with the wind to their back during the day. It was one of those days where the bull was bugling quite a bit from their bedding area,
Yes, yeah.
And we saw these guys coming from the bottom, and I'm thinking, the wind's blowing right up. They're going to blow them out of here. Yeah. And sure shit, that's what they did. They blew the elk out of there. And we ended up running into the guys, and I was mad.
Yeah.
And I was mad. I was like, do you guys... And they saw us, was a thing.
Oh.
Here again, an ethics thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all out there trying to
right.
get elk or get the animal or whatever. But when it comes down to it, if you see somebody going after something, I know you're the same way. I just back off.
Yep. Yep.
And the one guy's like, oh, we weren't for sure what you guys are going after. I'm like, there's elk bugling in there.
Right.
Anyway, so, and Rob was nice, and he's talking to him, and I'm sitting there, I'm pissed. I'm probably 20 yards away, just sitting there, just thinking, what am I going to do, now, what figure it out. Because there's a new first time we've been in there, so it's a new area.
Oh, okay.
And all of a sudden, across the canyon, on the other side of the creek, pretty closer to where you shot your buck, over that way.
Okay.
I see a small bull, some cows, which I didn't care. I hadn't killed a bull in a few years.
Right.
And so I walked over to those guys and I told Rob, I says, hey, I just see a bull over there. So I'm going to go after it. And I looked at those two guys and says, did you hear that? I'm going after this bull. So stay away. I was mad. I'm sure they thought I was jerks, but and maybe
they
was
weren't
a
too
jerk.
far off,
but,
baby.
yeah. But, I mean,
right.
I guess, like says ethics. So
yeah, jeez.
I went over there and shot the bull.
Good. That's funny.
Yeah. That was a really good area. I killed a lot of elk in that area.
Yeah, you did. You hammered that for quite a few years.
Yeah. But anyway, so I guess get our baiting going.
Yep.
We got some next episode. We got some guests coming on.
Yeah. Finally, another guest.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It was a new dynamic having somebody on with us.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Oh, everyone seems to be enjoying us just kind of doing our thing. Yeah. Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun to change it up too.
Yeah, it is. Oh, for sure. I'm looking forward to some of these guests. And we've got, now that we're, I wish everyone could come in the studio, but I know we're going to be doing some like over Zoom and that type of thing, and which is good. I know a lot of podcasts are done, or, that's the way they do them, but I don't really know how many, maybe there is a lot of the hunting podcasts actually that are on YouTube. I don't know, but
I don't know either, actually.
And a lot
I know there's a few, but
yeah. And I think a lot of them, I know the ones I've listened to they're on like podcast which
right.
We're on Podbean.
Podbean, yeah. That's the host, and it distributes it to all the other.
Yeah, so that takes you to Spotify and I know iHeart,
Apple,
iTunes, and I think there's some other
Pandora,
ones.
I don't know. There's whatever. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, there is a bunch of them.
And it goes out to pretty much all of them. So
yeah.
You can find us anywhere. But man, if you've listened this far, you probably kind of enjoy what we're talking about. So we're kind of hoping to get our subscription base on the podcast platforms up.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to subscribe and help us out, that would be pretty cool.
You can download the Podbean app.
Yeah. We're not super familiar with how the whole podcast part of it goes, other than, I've obviously done YouTube for years, so I'm more familiar with that. But you can just follow them on there and follow us on there and help us out. Spread the word. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And we got t-shirt stuff, material.
Yeah, t-shirts showed up today. We talked about this a little bit quite a bit actually on the last podcast.
Yeah, that's Season Hunter shirts.
Yeah, so shirts came in. We're just waiting for our artwork to show up, and then we're gonna get those out for sale. So that'll be kind of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing that stuff. It's
we got awesome. The designs are actually
turned out really cool.
Yeah.
I'm happy with them.
Yeah.
So
yeah. If you guys didn't know it already and figure it out, John is like the brains.
John, we're in trouble if that's the case.
No, man, you got it. You got it going on. You got, and I know updating a lot of the stuff that you did, and some of the equipment we bought and everything. Yeah. I mean, all that obviously helps, but I do rely on you for that part. It's I think so far. I mean, it's been good teamwork because we kind of got our own little gig that we take care of.
You've got just as important a part in this whole thing as I do.
Yeah, I mean,
it's getting getting the guests, which is really cool, and
partners,
and our partners in this whole thing, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah. It's fun. I'm enjoying.
He's got the gift of gab. So.
Well, like today, it was kind of cool to get a friend of mine, and even though he's a friend, it's still nice to even hear from people you've known from a long time that you don't really know who's listening and who's not.
Right.
To get a message, it's kind of funny because he said, "I got a bone to pick with you." He says most podcasts he is asleep within 15 minutes, but. He had to listen to the whole thing and it kept him awake.
Well, that's good for us, bad for him, I guess.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. We sincerely appreciate all the support and everyone's subscribing, and that Podbean thing, I messed with it a little bit, got on some of the other the iHeart and checked it out in iTunes, just in Spotify, just to make sure they were there,
Right.
you know, and yeah, it's all on there. So
on there. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I did something right anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, that's fun. But yeah, I mean, we are really, actually, we're trying to figure out how to. We didn't talk about this today at all. I mean, just even between us about how to give away some of that stuff now.
Oh,
so we
yeah.
gotta get that figured out pretty quick too.
Yeah, we'll be doing some giveaways pretty quick. We'll give away some. We got some stuff from Redline Archeries, some calls from Native by Carlton, Redline, the Redline stuff,
Yep.
and some T-shirts. We'll have some T-shirts.
We'll be giving away a bunch. Our stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Season Hunter. We'll give away some. Maybe we can give away an elk camp shirt or something.
Yeah.
We can give away some stuff.
Those are cool shirts. I do dig it. I do get compliments on.
Yeah.
When I'm rocking it around.
They have done really well. You just don't know till you.
No.
You don't know till you do it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that design's done really well. The will work for food design.
Yeah.
We'll have to show you guys sometime, but that's a pretty cool one. That one's sold really well. So
yeah,
kind of fun.
Right now, is everything on?
All that stuff's online. Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
On the sagebuckoutdoors.com.
And the Season Hunter, we're just going to run along there too with
So that once we get all that stuff, and that's a whole nother aspect. Now we're going off on a whole other tangent here, but taking photos for the website and stuff like that, that's just another whole process.
Yeah.
I don't know what I've got myself into. But it's fun. So
it is.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start
the end results are fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes the work sucks, but
I'll take a little bit of the burden with the shirts and help you
Yeah.
out with those. It's the least I can do.
yeah, it is the least you can do.
All right, brother.
Hey, thanks again.
Yeah,
It was
thank
fun.
you. Yeah. Appreciate all the help, and as usual, we sincerely do appreciate everyone watching and subscribing and liking and sharing and sending the messages and phone calls. It's we hope you guys are enjoying it. We're having fun.
We're having a blast.
Yeah.
We're always looking. I've got a coworker that had started a podcast too, and we're both kind of like, man, you wanted, she's doing a once a week type thing too, and we were talking the other day. It's like, oh, you want to post more often, because you're looking forward to the next one and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, but we don't want to run out of content either.
Well, yeah, and like that one friend of mine was telling you, just sent me that message today. We are totally open anytime somebody wants to send us a suggestion.
Yep.
What they want to hear. I got a list of some things, that we'll be talking about future podcasts. Mm-hmm. And we like that feedback.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway,
right
keep
on.
it coming.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you
appreciate
bet.
it.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
Later. Thanks. See ya.